In the Trenches with Ryan Roxie.
Quit saying
That's awesome.
quit saying female. It's you know what? Though I'll be honest with you, because in the trenches we have had our share of females on with Orianthe. We've had Cheryl Cooper. We've had Nita Strauss, and we've had a few others. But Cher, you're our first female bassist, and well, welcome to the crowd. Welcome to the crowd. But you're one of a strong group of just bass players. We love having the bassists on.
I represent.
Now, I'm not sure if people know where we are broadcasting this from and everywhere. I'm all the way at the North Pole. Right. So, when I was hyping this episode, there was snow all around and I'm in Stockholm. Then our producer's somewhere in between. He's in Arkansas. So it might be a little bit cold. It might be a little bit warm. But you, Cher, you are in balmy Florida right now, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm in South Florida, and we moved here. Bam, and I moved here from Los Angeles because, believe it or not, we thought the winters in LA were too cold. We wanted to move somewhere warmer.
You know what? That's the biggest kept secret. It's the biggest sort of urban myth is that LA has perfect weather all the time. No way. It's freezing in January, February. Right?
Winters just started to annoy the crap out of me. So I was like, you know what? And Bam was the same. We were like, let's go somewhere warmer. And we kept going to the Caribbean, and Florida called our names.
That's good. That's good. Well, you kept on going. You play a lot of those rock cruises. So I think you kind of, it's just an easy gateway to get to the rock cruises from Florida anyway, right? That's where they all begin. And
it's just a little drive for me. Just drive to the port and off we go.
Well, we both lived in Los Angeles for a long time. We endured those unseemingly cold winters. It's not that they're cold. It's just that the houses are not prepared for it. All single pane windows. And because here in Sweden, I'm warm as hell right now. Here in the studio, I am it's what's a good word? Tepid. Would that be a good word for hot and comfortable? But it didn't start out there. And that's where I like to start the podcast with, because we are with Share Ross. You guys, most of you probably know her from Vixen or the Down and Outs, but there is a ton of other bands that we are going to talk about. I get to say that line, I played in about 100 bands and 98 you've never heard of, but you've played in your share, and pardon the expression, but it didn't start in Los Angeles. And that's where we begin our segment with new animation, if you will, because we have a section of the podcast that we will begin right now called Let's Go Back to Get Forward. Ever get the feeling you've been cheated? I hyped up this animation. We are trying to up the production value share.
It's awesome. Looks good.
Well, you look at your production. You've got this. We talked about the backdrop before. We have no idea if you're in, at a Grateful Dead concert or if it's.
Yes, this reflects my affection for tie-dye.
It is. Did you ever say, Brandon Gibbs has started his own tie-dye t-shirt merch company. So maybe he'd like to know the secret of that tie-dye.
Wow. That's cool.
We always have inside facts about Brandon Gibbs. That's what we do here at In the Trenches. But in order to go back to get forward, it started in Minnesota for you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You grew up.
That question that always comes up really is who influenced you musically, right?
Yeah. Well, who was your favorite? Yeah. Who were your favorite musicians growing up, and who inspired you to pick up that bass guitar?
It really started with my mom was a musician, and she had been a performer, and I was actually named after her. She was performing all around the Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, wherever, Chicago, all these places. And her name was Sharon, because she didn't like her real name. Her real name was Vera, and she just hated that. So she went by Sharon, and she was this piano player, entertainer, singer, And then she stopped to have a family with my dad. And so my brothers were born many years before me, but she always carried that on. Like, you know, once you play, you can't stop, right? And she had 6 brothers and sisters who were also incredible musicians. Everybody could play at least one instrument, if not more. And then her parents, my grandparents, were also musicians, and everybody could sing, and everybody could sing harmony. So it was like growing up around jam sessions all the time and thinking that was just the norm. That was just how every kid grows up, and that's how it is.
Well,
And
I mean, if you think about it right now, even with your name Cher, because it's not spelled traditionally, was it
right.
always spelled Share? Or it reminds me a little bohemian, a little hippie-ish, and if you combine it with the tie-dye and all the crystals and symbols you have on it now, it seems like share. Yes, everybody should share. Was it more of like that growing up? Was it a little bit bohemian type? No. Okay, so it was Minnesota, Midwest.
It was straight up Midwest, meat and potatoes. And my dad had worked his way up in the company in a corporate job. And my mom taught piano, so she would have like fun money. And then she had a performing group. And then I got to tell you, the name Cher, it's not like some great, awesome thing. It was from the TV show in the 70s called The Care Bears. And I had a bunch of friends whose names were Mary, Terry, Carrie, and Larry. And so we all became Mare Bear, Care Bear, Terror Bear, Lair Bear, and Share Bear.
Share Bear.
Oh, Share Bear, which is what some people still call me Share Bear, which is pretty funny. So yeah, there wasn't any sort of mystical thing. It wasn't anything to do with Sonny and Cher, which I got my nickname before Sonny and Cher were a thing.
Actual TV show. What came first, Sonny and Cher or the Care Bears? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm not actually sure. That's a good question. I'll have to research, because I think the Cher thing happened. I don't know. God, I was like 7 or 8 or something. I don't know. And it just stuck.
We're in that same sort of TV growing up, watching those 70s sitcoms and stuff. I remember my Friday night. Was your Friday night ever consisting of the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family? And then
always.
If you got to stay up late enough, it was Love American Style.
Okay. Yeah, but then later on, it was Midnight Special.
Oh, Don Kirshner's rock concert was the one for me, because I grew up on the West Coast. I grew up in the Bay Area. And did they have Don Kirshner's rock concert where in the Midwest?
I remember seeing it, so we must have. But for some reason, the Midnight Special was a bigger influence, and that, I mean, my life would revolve around that. You know, it's like the only chance to see music.
Right.
Well, did you? Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family all the way.
Now, I'm just curious, because if we're talking about that, Susan Day, wasn't she the bass player of the Partridge Family?
Susan Day.
Who played?
She was the older one who was super hot.
She was David Cassidy's sister, or Keith Partridge's sister. Didn't she play bass in the band? Who played bass, Vic, in the Partridge Family?
Or did Danny Bonaducci play bass?
I think it might have been Danny Bonaducci. You know what? Or maybe
because it might have been.
Because I actually think Susan Day, and I wish I knew her character's name right now. I think she was the keyboard player, or was that the mom?
I think she was too.
Oh my God,
man, I don't know. Come on, Vic, help us.
We need to go to Brandon Gibbs and ask him, because basically he patterned his career off.
Somebody just wrote Danny was the bassist. I have a funny story about the Partridge Family.
Okay,
I'm gonna go off topic for 1 second.
Here we go.
Okay. Fast forward, Los Angeles, 1980, probably 1985-ish. And by that time, I had already kind of established myself. I was like gun for hire bass player, right? So I had this, I was like on the call list for this one guy. He would get all these gigs. People would come through town. They'd call this guy, whose name I can't even remember right now. But he called me up and he says, "Hey, we got a gig at Six Flags, Magic Mountain. Probably pay like $100 or something, whatever. I don't remember." And we were
gas. Maybe you get gas. Yeah.
Maybe I got gas money. Yeah. Free rides. And we were backing up a day with childhood TV stars. Danny Bonaducci was there.
Nice.
And the now somebody's got to help me out here, because I can't remember her name. It wasn't Susan Day. It was the little girl who was all grown up now.
The red-haired girl that played the triangle?
Yeah, she played like tambourine or triangle or something. Does anybody remember her name? Anyway, I met those two and they were hilarious. This is when Danny was back in his heavy cocaine phase and he was off the rails. He was so funny. And then the chick was, I don't know, I think it must do something to you to be a childhood TV star, obviously. And she ran up to me and yeah, right. And she ran up to me and she goes, "What do you think? Does this look good?" And her face looked like she'd had a sheet of saran wrap on it. And I'm like, it looks kind of okay. And I didn't know what to say. Yeah, her. Oh my God, that's awesome. And what she had done was she said, "I figured it out. I found the way to go on stage really hot when it's really hot like this in California." It was the middle of summer. And I go, "Well, what did you do?" And she goes, "I sprayed my face with Aquanet."
Holy crap.
I was like, oh my God. I don't think that's
intentionally though. I used to do that every single gig about
right, but you tried to go like that, right? You tried to just do this.
Well,
anyway.
I mean, if you think about the old Vixen videos, there was some
like we did.
There was some Aquanet going out in that band as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, oh yeah.
Who do
Tracy,
you think,
that's who it was.
Who do you think caused more of a carbon imprint in the world? Was it Poison or Vixen?
I think it was a tie.
Might have been a tie. Yeah, and
it might have been a tie.
I was a bronze medalist. I was going for the bronze because
nice.
Sure. I'm not sure. You know what? We could sit here and talk all day about Magic Mountain because I have great stories about that. But my Danny Bonaducci story, I spilled a Coke on him, and not when in his raving cocaine days. I guess we were just doing Gilby Clark and I were doing one of those round table press radio things that they used to have at Universal Studios, where they set up all these radio stations and then you do like, 20 interviews in like, a couple hours. And Danny Bonaducci was, just doing his radio show. And what a great way to start, an interview is like Gilby comes up and he goes, "Oh man, really great to meet you." And then he gives me the Hollywood handshake and doesn't really look at me and like, sort of shakes my hand. It's okay. It's all right because, I'm Gilby's guitar player and no problem. But I just go, "Man, it's great to meet you." And when I said, "Great to meet you," it hit the bottle of Coke that was on the desk and went all over him. And he just, he was cool about it though.
Was he? He was all right. Okay.
Well, let's see. You know what? I'll try to get him on in the trenches. And if he refuses, then obviously
you'll know.
Bonaducci never forgets.
Never forgets.
I'm Ryan Roxie, and I've taken all my years of experience of playing guitar, and I want to pass the torch of rock and roll on to you. Check out the System 12 Guitar Method.
Hello folks, Roxie here. Thanks for watching the video. And if you liked it, hit the subscribe button or one of the videos around me to watch more. If you'd like to, please leave a comment. If you didn't like the video, maybe you'll forget how to type.